Good afternoon, everyone. This is Steve Lookner with Right Side Broadcasting, coming to you with a news alert. The President Trump LaVar Ball war of words took another step today when President Trump tweeted a response to LaVar Ball this morning about LaVar Ball saying yesterday that President Trump didn't have that much of a role in getting the UCLA players, including LaVar Ball's sons, released from China. So today, President Trump, apparently after hearing that interview sometime in the last day, went on Twitter and said this to LaVar Ball. Now that the three basketball players are out of China and saved from years in jail, LaVar Ball, the father of LiAngelo, is unaccepting of what I did for his son, and that shoplifting is no big deal. I should have left them in jail. So by them, he's referring to LaVar Ball's son and two other UCLA basketball players who a couple weeks ago, they shoplifted some items from several stores in China when they were there with the UCLA basketball team on a trip to play a game. The Chinese authorities held the players after the rest of the team went back home to the U.S. Then President Trump said something to Chinese President Xi about it, and a couple days after that, the players were released. Now it's not entirely clear if you were going to put a percentage roll on it, what percentage roll President Trump's intervention had to do with the release. But President Trump did bring it up with the Chinese president, and a couple days later, the players were released. But yesterday, LaVar Ball minimized President Trump's role in getting the players released. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. And then President Trump responded with this today, the latest back and forth between President Trump and LaVar Ball. And LaVar Ball, for those of you, again, who aren't aware, he is the father of Lakers rookie Lonzo Ball, and also the father of LiAngelo Ball, who is a freshman at UCLA, plays basketball there. LaVar Ball is known as being very brash, as making very big, boastful claims about his Lonzo Ball's basketball abilities. He's a big personality. Some love him, some don't love him, but President Trump responded to LaVar Ball today. So we want to get your opinions. Part of the reason why we came on and did this is we want to get your opinions about what President Trump said today and what you think about what LaVar Ball said yesterday. So if you have thoughts on this, write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. What we're going to do is we're just going to go through the story, just recap the different, the way we got here, the way we got to this tweet today, the different events, and we'll do that very briefly, and then I'm going to take your comments. So write to me on Twitter with your comments, at Lookner on Twitter. Also want to say a quick thank you. Well, first I want to just make sure the sound is working. K-N-E-R. Sounds good. So I want to say thank you to the moderators for being in the chat rooms today, both on YouTube and on the web. And on YouTube, we got Real Frank and JC I see there. So thank you for joining us, and thank all of you for joining us. To know when we're coming on the air with these videos, subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell so you get notified when we're coming on the air. All right, so let's talk right now about how we got to this place. I won't go into the whole China story in detail, but basically speaking, a couple weeks ago, UCLA basketball went on a trip to China. They had a game scheduled there. Three of their players shoplifted items, including sunglasses, I believe. They shoplifted items from three Chinese stores. The Chinese authorities held the players in custody, and no one really knew, well, are they going to get charged with crimes? Are they going to have to go to jail? If they go to jail in China, how long will they be there? No one really knew this. And then President Trump was on his Asia trip at the time, and President Trump brought the incident up with Chinese President Xi. And I saw an account of that today in the New York Times. I'll show it to you. According to Chief of Staff John Kelly, President Trump said to Xi, "Do you know anything about these knuckleheads that got caught allegedly stealing?" And then, unaware of the episode, according to John Kelly, the Chinese president dispatched an aide to get more information. The president was saying, "It's not too serious. We'd love to see this taken care of in an expeditious way," Mr. Kelly added. So President Trump brought this up with President Xi, and a couple days later, they were released by China, and China said they're not going to charge them with anything. But now, after that happened, President Trump did tweet. I want to show you what President Trump tweeted after that. So after President Trump brings up this issue with presidency of China and the players get released from China. President Trump tweeted out, "Do you think the 3 UCLA basketball players will say thank you to President Trump? They were headed for 10 years in jail." Now, it's not entirely clear what sentence they might have gotten in China. There's some disagreement over that. But President Trump thought they might have been headed for 10 years in jail. So President Trump said, "Do you think the 3 UCLA basketball players will say thank you?" In their press conference, all 3 players did thank President Trump for his help getting them released. So all 3 players in the UCLA press conference, when they got back, thanked President Trump. Then President Trump tweeted again. We're just going through the history that got us to today. So President Trump tweeted again, and I'll show you his tweets. He said, "To the 3 UCLA basketball players, I say, you're welcome. Go out and give a big thank you to President Xi Jinping of China, who made ... who made your release possible, and have a great life. Be careful. There are many pitfalls on the long and winding road of life." So President Trump said, "You're welcome," when the players said thank you and told them they should thank President Xi as well. Then yesterday, LaVar Ball, the father of one of the players who was arrested, gave an interview to ESPN, which resulted in this article. And this is from ESPN. And this article, the headline you can see, "LaVar Ball downplays Donald Trump's role in UCLA freshman's release." And I want to show you a couple of quotes from this article. First of all, there was this one. Who? LaVar Ball told ESPN on Friday when asked about Trump's involvement in the matter. What was he over there for? Don't tell me nothing. Everybody wants to make it seem like he helped me out. So when specifically when LaVar Ball says everybody wants to make it seem like he helped me out, that seems to say that LaVar Ball is saying President Trump didn't actually help LaVar Ball out, which would imply that President Trump didn't get LiAngelo Ball, one of the players, help get LaVar Ball's son LiAngelo Ball released, because if President Trump did help get LaVar Ball's son released, then LaVar Ball wouldn't be saying, well, everybody wants to make it seem like he helped me out. So this basically implies that LaVar Ball thinks the president didn't help get the UCLA players released. Then also in this interview, there's this other thing he said. Let's see here. As long as my boy's back here, I'm fine. I'm happy with how things were handled. A lot of people like to say a lot of things that they thought happened over there. Like I told him, they try to make a big deal out of nothing sometimes. I'm from LA. I've seen a lot worse happen than a guy taking some glasses. My son has built up enough character that one bad decision doesn't define him. Now, if you can go back and say when he was 12 years old, he was shoplifting and stealing cars and going wild, then that's a different thing. So again, specifically here, LaVar Ball said they try to make a big deal out of nothing sometimes, which suggests he doesn't think the stealing thing is that big a deal, the shoplifting in China. And he also says, I've seen a lot worse things happen than a guy taking some glasses. I think referring to sunglasses being stolen in China. Now, this is what President Trump, those quotes are what President Trump was referring to today in his tweet. So President Trump said, remember, LaVar Ball, the father of LiAngelo, is unaccepting of what I did for his son and is unaccepting that shoplifting is no big deal and thinks that shoplifting is no big deal. That's basically what President Trump is saying there. So President Trump is directly responding to what LaVar Ball said in this interview here. And one other thing I wanted to point out is that before President Trump said anything in response to this interview in ESPN, where LaVar Ball said President Trump didn't actually help get the players released. That's what he implied in this interview. Dan Scavino, the social media director at the White House, had already posted something on his personal Twitter page. This was yesterday. So yesterday, after the interview with ESPN, which we just talked about, that LaVar Ball gave, Dan Scavino Jr. wrote, "Wannabe Lakers coach, big mouth LaVar Big Baller knows if it weren't for President Donald Trump, his son would be in China for a long, long, long time. #fact." So that was what Dan Scavino tweeted. And Dan Scavino tweeted this yesterday. But then President Trump today tweeted, I should have left them in jail. At the end of his whole tweet there. So we're going to take your comments on this in a second. If you have comments on this, what do you think? What do you think about President Trump's tweeting this? What do you think about this whole feud between LaVar Ball and President Trump? Give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. One thing I do want to point out here, and I pointed this out on Twitter when I saw this tweet this morning from President Trump. So I did think that there is a bit of risk for President Trump in tweeting this out, because what could happen is some people could just, this could be publicized where somebody says, hey, President Trump said I should have left them in jail. And if you just say that and you don't give the context of, well, he's saying it in response to LaVar Ball after LaVar Ball said what he said, if you just say President Trump said, I should have just left them in jail, and somebody doesn't know the context of this, they might think, oh, now President Trump is saying, I actually shouldn't have helped get them out, and I don't like them. And then you might get into things like where some people might think if they hear that, oh, he doesn't care about the kids, or, some people might say he's acting racist or something. So my point is, there is a bit of a risk with this where the headline could just be, I should have left them in jail. And now, a lot of the headlines I've seen today talk about that he's saying this to LaVar Ball. But for example, I saw this one, Reuters top news, Trump says he should have left UCLA players in jail in China. Now, I'm guessing if you read the story, you would talk about LaVar Ball. But my point is, if somebody just sees this, they might think, oh, so he's like regretting that he did that. And I don't think he's really saying he regrets doing it. What he's saying is, when he's saying it, he's saying to LaVar Ball, and he's saying, oh, well, you should be, basically when he's saying it to LaVar Ball, he's saying you should be more thankful for what I did rather than trying to minimize it. But also, there's been a lot of social media reactions today to this. So there's been, of course, some memes about it. We have memes like this. Sports Twitter mobilizing for the Trump-LaVar Ball feud. We have this one. Everyone on Twitter waiting for Trump versus LaVar Ball. And then we see Trump's tweet. And it says, oh my God, okay, it's happening. So we have that. What else did I want to show you as a sample? When it becomes clear you're going to make $1 billion off of Trump versus LaVar Ball at WrestleMania. We have some people who don't really like the feud, and Mike LaPenta tweeted out picking sides in a Donald Trump versus LaVar Ball fight. So he seems to not really like either side in this fight. And then we have this tweet here I want to show you. So there's some anti-Trump and pro-Trump memes out there, but this is a meme making fun of LaVar Ball. It says LaVar Ball rushing to do an interview about Donald Trump for more publicity. So all kinds of memes. Whatever you think about this issue, I think you can find a meme that agrees with what your thoughts are on this. And by the way, I want to get to your comments now, but quickly, I want to say thank you to Shaggy and Christine Bestian for making donations. Shaggy says, hey, Steve, since some people are afraid of viruses. Okay. Shaggy, I got your message. I'll check out your message. Thanks for saying that, Shaggy. And thank you for the donation. And Christine said, no matter what he said or did, he would be wrong. I think what you're saying, Christine, is you think for some people, no matter what President Trump says, they'll think it's wrong. So thank you, Christine and Shaggy, for the donations. We are viewer supported here on Right Side Broadcasting. So if you like our coverage, if you like that we're taking the time out of the day to do an extended stream on this story, please consider making a donation, because your donations are what keeps us on the air. We're viewer supported. If you want to donate, you can do what Christine and Shaggy did. Just go to the bottom of the YouTube chat and click on the $ sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat, or you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. All right. It's time to get to your comments. I want to hear what you have to say about this. What the president said today to LaVar Ball, about LaVar Ball saying yesterday that the president didn't really, he thought the president didn't help out get the basketball players released. What do you think? Write to me on Twitter at Lookner. JC, one of our moderators, and thank you again to our moderators moderating our chat rooms today. JC says, Steve, I say send his dumbass and his shoplifting son back to China to face sentencing. So JC, it sounds to me like you're not happy that LaVar Ball said that President Trump did not help in this. Colia says, see how quick President Trump is to intervene with thieves again. Oh, I think what you're saying, Colia, is if a similar situation comes up, you think President Trump might not be so quick to intervene because he's getting, I'm trying to think of the right word. Like backlash isn't the right word. Maybe backlash from LaVar Ball. So you're saying maybe that'll affect how he behaves in the future. David Richard Steer writes in, I am 52 years old and never stole anything from any store. Small crimes turn into bigger crimes. Those players need to have better fathers. Mine would have kicked my A. That's from David Richard Steer. And I think something you're referring to is when LaVar Ball in his interview yesterday said, they try to make a big deal out of nothing sometime. I'm from LA. I've seen a lot worse things happen than a guy taking some glasses. So it sounds like you're saying that you think it would be more appropriate if LaVar Ball had a stronger response to his son's shoplifting in China. I got a question from Maga Miguel about the chat. If you have questions about the chat, the moderators are the people to ask. Specifically, you can always write to the lead moderator, Jude. She's at moderator@rsbn.tv, moderator@rsbn.tv. So if you have a question about the chat, ask one of the moderators and email Jude if you'd like. Let's see here. Garrett says, anyway, Trump's role in educating these shoplifters was clearly a lot more important than the role of his father, this father in educating his son. Sammy makes an interesting point. Sammy says, probably should have said, should I have, but what kind of father thinks it's okay for their child to shoplift? So, Sammy, I understand what you're saying. So, as I was saying before, I don't think President Trump, when he writes this tweet, is really thinking now, I really should have left them in jail. I don't think he's really thinking that. This is an expression people use. And what you're saying, Sammy, is what he really means when he says, I should have left them in jail, is like, asking the rhetorical question, should I have left them in jail? He's really asking something like, would you have rather, something like that. Would you rather I have done nothing kind of thing. So it can sound like if you just take the I should have left him in jail out of out of context, he's really changed his mind now. But I don't, I don't believe he's genuinely changed his mind about that. What he's saying is that, he's pointing out that basically he thinks that LaVar Ball should be appreciative because he did have a role in getting the sons released. And now, but a lot of people, have taken what the president said here literally. So, for example, Frank Luntz from Fox says the president of the United States is saying he should have left 3 American citizens in a communist prison because one of their parents didn't show enough gratitude. Now, he didn't really say that. If you take it out of context, you could say, oh, he said it. But I think any reason, if you look at what President Trump said and you interpret it reasonably, you don't think he's really saying he should have left the citizens in jail. He's trying to make a point. He's using an expression to make a point to LaVar Ball. But I saw a number of prominent journalists post tweets like this, where they were saying the president is literally saying this. But maybe what you're saying, Sammy, is maybe if he had said, should I have left them in jail, that would have been a little more clear to people. I see what you're saying. Nancy M. Rice says, do you know why they were in China to begin with? Stealing is still wrong, even if you're a rich ball player. Yeah, they were in China because UCLA was playing some college basketball games. I think there was some kind of tournament going on that had been put together in China, and they were actually over there to play a game or games of college basketball. By the way, if you like the video, we love when you like our videos on YouTube and share them on Facebook. That really helps get the word out about Right Side Broadcasting, lets other people know we're doing these streams. So please, if you like the video, don't do it if you don't like it, but if you like the video, like it on YouTube, share it on Facebook. We're reading your comments here about this story that President Trump told LaVar Ball on Twitter today. This tweet. Oops, well, I was going to show it to you. Here it is. President Trump told LaVar Ball this tweet, and at the end he says, I should have left them in jail. But he's basically, I'll read you the tweet again. Now that the 3 basketball players are out of China and saved from years in jail, LaVar Ball, the father of LiAngelo, is unaccepting of what I did for his son and says that shoplifting is no big deal. I should have left them in jail. So we're covering this. We're taking your comments on it, reading them on the air. So if you have comments, write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Also subscribe to Right Side and click the notifications bell when you subscribe on YouTube so you can get notified about all of our videos. And let me say again, we are viewer supported, so if you want to help out Right Side, keep us on the air, your donations do that. Go to the bottom of the YouTube chat, click on the $sign. Even small donations are welcome because we use them to stay on the air. Or you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Let me get to some more of your comments. Swedish Chef says Reuters is fake news. Little Lena writes in, it is a very big deal when you steal from China. It is wrong all the way. The young people that took from China, Chinese stores, I think you mean, absolutely should give respect to President Trump and the president of China. It is a serious crime in China. Yeah, and just to be clear, the 3 players did all thank President Trump in their press conference. But LaVar Ball is the one yesterday who said in this interview to ESPN, as we saw earlier, when he was asked about Trump's involvement in China, in getting the players released, what was he over there for? Don't tell me nothing. Everybody wants to make it seem like he helped me out. I Heart Trump in America says Trump should have expected the backlash. Most likely it is the liberal left, but Trump did what was right. Trump knows what's right for the country. Trump let the parents do their jobs, but most likely they failed to be right parents to their children. MAGA Freedom writes in, when I heard what LaVar Ball said, I thought to myself, President Trump should have left them in jail. President Trump states what most sane people think. We the people like that he does that. Signed, Chick Mouse Vintage. Darth Kafefe says, this is just publicity for LaVar Ball. He keeps talking to grow his brand and sell his overpriced shoes, knowing Trump will respond because that is what Trump does. And so when you refer to his brand, you're talking about Big Baller Brand. For those of you who are not aware, Big Baller Brand is a brand that was launched by LaVar Ball, and they sell clothing and shoes. And so LaVar Ball, it's his company. He's the founder of it, and he's the CEO. And I'll just show you. I hope there's not like crazy music on this site. So there's Big Baller Brand. No, I don't want to join your mailing list and notifications. So that's, you can see they sell all kinds of things, t-shirts and sneakers and sweatshirts and stuff. So what Darth Kafefe is saying, you're believing that LaVar Ball just likes this publicity, and you think maybe he's just saying things about President Trump he's saying to get publicity because you think it'll help get more publicity for him, free advertising, help the brand. That's your theory. Thank you, Darth Kafefe. Interesting. Thank you, Z Jorat, for the donation. That's very nice of you. Z Jorat gave $10. We really appreciate it. We'll put it towards staying on the air and doing more streams. Danielle Mao says, Steve, it's good Trump used his pull to help out, but he needs to stay off Twitter and stop with the look how wonderful I am tweets. So you're making an interesting point, Danielle. You're saying you don't think it helps President Trump when he posts a tweet like saying what he did. I think specifically you may be talking about a tweet like this. It sounds to me like, Danielle, you're a fan of President Trump, but you think if he posts a tweet like this, then some people are going to look at this negatively, and some people who might have given him credit for helping get the players released might not give him as much credit anymore if they see a tweet like this where the president is asking them to say thank you and pointing out he did this. So that's your opinion, Danielle. It's a very interesting opinion, and you are a fan of President Trump, I can see, so it's interesting that you say that. Cutter Wayne Leaf says, if the father thinks stealing is not a big deal, then he should take his child back to China to stand trial and see what happens. JC says, yeah, that's the only thing I wished he would have worded differently. I should have left them in jail. I should have left them in jail. His son. Oh, left him in jail. So you think, JC, the president should have said, I should have left him in jail about LaVar Ball's son. I see. That's your opinion. And you're also saying, JC, the other players' two parents didn't do anything. So you're saying maybe you would have liked it better if President Trump had specifically said, I should have left him in jail, talking about LaVar Ball's son, because LaVar Ball and not the other players' parents was the one who said President Trump didn't help get his son released. Or he implied that, LaVar Ball. Let's see. Homestead Trade says, I think the exclamation point was intended, not a question mark. Yeah, no, President Trump, what I wasn't saying is that he meant to write something else. What I was saying is that there are different ways you could write a tweet which expresses basically the same thing. And there are other ways this tweet could have been written, for example, with a question at the end, which could have basically expressed the same thing, but maybe would have made it less likely that people would have said, oh, he wants them to still be in jail now, which I don't think he genuinely wants, but I could see how someone could read the tweet that way. Colia writes in, those boys could have been caned and locked up for 10 years. The father, LaVar, thinks this is the first time this kid has ever stolen. I doubt it. Now, I have no information on this that would suggest that LiAngelo Ball has stolen before, just to be clear. But respect your opinion. So we will read, as long as it's clean, we will read people's opinions here. We don't really censor here at Right Side Broadcasting, aside from things we think might be very offensive. Rob Fowler says, hey, Steve, tell people to go to Asia. Everything is laid out and nobody worries about shoplifters. USA should be ashamed it doesn't take these things seriously. What kind of people are we trying to raise? Andrew Sova says, actually, I feel the way he worded it. He seemed to have quoted how his father felt. It's not what Donald Trump feels himself, or not being that he didn't use quotes. Never mind. It sounds like you want me to never mind. So I shouldn't have read that, I guess, Andrew, because it sounds like you took back what you said in the second message to me. All right, we're going to be on the air a few more minutes here, but if you want to write in, get your comments in now at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner on Twitter. And if there is more breaking news, tonight, we will come on the air and cover it. I'm actually going to be traveling tomorrow. I'm traveling home to my family's place for the holidays. I will be able to broadcast from there, but tomorrow, if news happens during the day, I will not be available for a part of the day because I will be on a plane and at the airport, unfortunately. Jim Wolf says, I don't know what the president expected from an idiot like LaVar Ball. Like the president, my thought was let him sit in jail more. So clearly you, Jim Wolf, are not happy with LaVar Ball's comments. Quick update here about a news story I just saw right here. This is not on topic, but I do want to show it to you while we're on the air. BNO News just tweeted out, powerful 7.3 magnitude earthquake strikes the Pacific Ocean off the French territory of New Caledonia. Tsunami alert issued for New Caledonia and Vanuatu. And these are two, I think they're islands. Let me look this up. So New Caledonia and Vanuatu are there. So they are off the coast of Australia. So, you know, a lot of times when these tsunami warnings happening, either there's no actual tsunami that happens or it's very small. So I wouldn't at this point, you know, assume there's going to be some giant tsunami there. Hopefully there isn't, but that is where the tsunami warning is for the Pacific region around where those two territories are, New Caledonia and Vanuatu. They are off the coast of Australia. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Oh, thank you, JC, for reminding me. I'd forgotten to check my email. Thank you. Shiet Mang says, these athletes... Ooh, sorry, well, now, why am I still on this picture? I should be back on what we're talking about here. There we go. My fault. Shiet Mang says, these athletes always act the same. It reminds me of all the NFL players who've committed domestic violence and nobody ever mentions it again. Stealing seems to be in their genes. Entitled much, yet they will still cry racism at anything that doesn't go their way. Terrible. So, you know, one thing I want to point out in what you said, Shiet Mang, is, you know, whether it's athletes or other people who are prominent, you know, I think there's something to be said for the claim that they do sometimes get treated a bit differently. And I have to imagine, you know, if instead of 3 UCLA basketball players, this was just 3 Americans who, you know, who were not prominent and famous, and they had got caught shoplifting from 3 stores. I'm guessing the president might not have brought that up. And, you know, they might have gotten a stronger sentence. So sometimes it can happen where people, if they're prominent, you know, they get more attention to their cases, which I don't think is necessarily fair. Although I think it's better that, you know, I'd rather have the government being intervening for some people rather than others. You know, the government. I don't think if the president spent literally everybody who got like arrested in a foreign country, if they tried to intervene, I think that maybe is unrealistic to ask. But it's just unfortunately what ends up happening is you have some people getting helped more than others because of their prominence. But this can happen sometimes. That's part of the way the world is. Chick Mouse Vintage on Etsy. I read Chick Mouse's message here on Twitter. And David Vadika, I got your email. Thank you. I will check it out. Grandpa Grice had sent me the message I just saw about the earthquake here. Thank you. And Homicidal Queen did as well. Oh no, Homicidal Queen retweeted me on it. Daniel Mao says, she thinks LaVar Ball is an idiot who needs to keep his mouth shut. I'm surprised he and Trump aren't BFFs. Not a Trump fan. Oh, so Danielle, you are not a Trump fan. That's what you're saying. I see. I'm sorry if I implied you were and you weren't. I thought you were. So we've cleared that up, Danielle. Dee writes in, the whole Ball family is out for fame, any kind they can get. They even have a reality show on Facebook. I bet we will see the shoplifting episodes soon. Let me check that. It looks like they do. LaVar Ball and his basketball family star in Facebook reality show. I don't know if they're currently making more episodes or not. I'm not sure. I'd have to read more about it, but you can look that up if you'd like. It's called Ball in the Family. H. Hewson writes, when someone says shoplifting/stealing is no big deal, they are in a position of authority. And when someone says shoplifting/stealing is no big deal and they are in a position of authority, wrong. All right, I think I have gotten to all your messages here. I appreciate everybody writing in. Thank you so much. I think we're going to wrap up the stream right now. Thank you all for watching and for all the moderators for helping out today. JC and in the YouTube chat, JC was there. Real Frank was there. Maybe some others who I'm not seeing right now. Much appreciated. Also, Common Sense and Glenn O on the website. Thanks to those who donated. We really appreciate your donations. Your donations keep us on the air. We can't stay on the air without your support. We are viewer supported. So if you want to donate, if you like these streams, go to the bottom of the YouTube chat and click on the $ at the bottom of the YouTube chat, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. You can even get Right Side gear by setting up a monthly donation at rsbn.tv/donate. Right Side gear like this mug there. Also, if you're interested in like Right Side t-shirts and other Right Side, we also sell stuff on teepublic.com, teepublic.com. Search for RSBN, you'll find it. A lot of t-shirts, hoodies, all that kind of stuff if you want to get that stuff. All right, so we're going to wrap this up. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for donating, for sending in your comments, and follow us on Twitter at RSB Network. You can follow me on Twitter at Lookner. I post about breaking news all the time, even when we're not on the air. So if you want to get breaking news updates on stories like this and all other kinds of stories, follow me at Lookner on Twitter. And we can follow us on Facebook at Right Side Broadcasting, and you can subscribe to us on YouTube. But when you do, click the notifications bell so you get notifications about all of our videos. All right, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you for saying thanks in the chat room. Thank you, Metal Goddess of Slayer, and Jasmine Guthrie, Frank Barrett, Nicholas Brown. Jan Wood says she got one of the t-shirts and it's awesome. Great. That's awesome, Jan. Glad you like it. Shiet Mang, thank you. Thank you, JC. Jessica Chanel, thanks. Elysia Sight, Light Switch, Frank Barrett. Light Switch says, I need to order a mug, procrastinating. And a couple people asked if I had information on the submarine. No new info on the submarine today. I saw one story that said now they're not even sure if those signals, those 7 signals came from the submarine that they were saying yesterday they thought did come from the submarine, so they're checking on that. I'll post on my Twitter if I hear anything more about the submarine. If there's anything big, we'll come back on and do another live stream. All right, that's it for now from here at Right Side Broadcasting. Oh, thank you again, Kelly. Some other people saying thanks in the chat room. Alan Reiser, Kelly Garan, Sammy, Lena. Thank you all for watching. And that's it for now. Keep watching out for Right Side Broadcasting. I'm sure we'll see you soon with more news. But for now, have a great night, everybody. And thanks for joining us.